The price of Bitcoin has been going up, and that is very exciting. Now, the reason why it's so exciting is because, as you'll know if you've been following the channel for a while, we're doing a trading challenge, and that trading challenge we started with only $10,000. Yesterday's video, I showed you how much of a balance we had. I think it was like 140k or something. We're now at $210,000, and it just doesn't stop. This has been one of the fastest ascents that I've done on one of these $10,000 to $100,000 trading challenges ever, with no single losing day in an extended period of days. Now, I don't know how long it's been. It's been a few days and we've not lost anything, and it's been mostly to the upside, and we've had some amazing days here. What have we had? 42k, 17k, 34k, 25k, 13k, every single day, banging it out the park because we're good at predicting the price of Bitcoin and where it's going next. So what is going to happen next to the price of Bitcoin? As you're clairvoyant, I'm going to tell you, but just before that, do drop a like on today's video and subscribe to the channel. If this video gets 1,000 likes, we want to drop it today. If this video gets 700 likes, I'll give away $10,000 to somebody that leaves a comment whether they're bullish or bearish on the price of Bitcoin in today's comment section. There you go. That's an achievable target. Can we do it? 700 likes. But back to it. Mystic Meg is going to predict the price of Bitcoin again here, and we're going to make some money, because right now, if we look at the price of Ethereum, 16,135, and you can see this band of liquidity up here at 16,500. But before, I'm just teasing you, before we get onto all of that, we've got so much crypto news to discuss, with the first thing in today's crypto news being that Dogecoin targets 60 cents next after Doge price has gained 40% in 1 week. As you can see, I am a proud Dogecoin holder holding $41,700 worth of it, but I only bought $20,000 of Dogecoin, which means that I'm $20,000 in a profit on a spot trade. TRADFI is going to ramp up Bitcoin allocations by year end, according to Wall Street veterans. Jordi Visser, who is very famous as an investor, says that Bitcoin allocations in traditional finance portfolios will go higher next year, and I don't doubt this for 1 second, and Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million. Failed altcoins are confusing the treasury narratives, says David Bailey, who is running a company called Nakamoto. The question is, should you really listen to what he says? Because A, he's heavily incentivized, and B, his stock is dropping through the floor right now. It might be a really good time to buy this, to be fair. The company itself doesn't actually do anything. It's called Kindly MD, and the stock is called Naka. It's a Bitcoin treasury company like any other Bitcoin treasury company, and doesn't actually do anything. That being said, it is down 90% in about a month and a half, although it's still cheaper to buy Bitcoin than it is buying the Bitcoin that he's bought with a loan. Moving on, Bitcoin is in consolidation as treasuries eye altcoins, says NOVOGRATZ. Now, Mike NOVOGRATZ is a very famous investor. Galaxy Digital, if you're not aware of it, is a huge organization in crypto that's been investing for many years, and he's got a very good track record of being correct and making a lot of money. So I listened to what this guy says. Bitcoin sharks add 65,000 Bitcoin in a week as key demand rebounds. We've seen it this past week. Sentiment is starting to change again. Bitcoin was down at 109, it's now up at 116, and then this trader turned 6.8k into 1.5 million by using a high risk strategy. We covered one of these articles the previous day, and the reason that I bring this up is because I'd like to inform you this article isn't about me, but pretty soon it is going to be about me, because we're smashing it out of the park on the trading challenge. And from starting with 10k, I now have 210k, a 21x increase in the span of about 6 weeks. It is actually insane when you think about it, and you can see it has been an incredible period of time. 2000% is what it's updated to. Now, more crypto news. Gemini's IPO actually happened, and their trade's now trading at $40 a share, with the firm valued at $4.75 billion. I actually think this is a solid buy. When the market's open, I'm probably going to go and buy about $50,000 of Gemini stock, because I actually think it'll be a pretty good long-term hold. I think the exchange industry is growing, but these regulated exchanges that tug off governments do really well, and Gemini is exactly that. The Ethereum Foundation has set an end-to-end privacy roadmap with private rights, reads, and proving, which is amazing. This is going to vastly improve the usability of Ethereum with all sorts of nefarious people, which will ultimately boost demand for Ethereum, and is very bullish news. One of the biggest current problems of Ethereum is, just like a blockchain is transparent, open, and everyone can see it, if you're doing normal transactions, maybe you don't want everybody to see it. Maybe you don't want everyone to know how much money you have. So this is very good and very positive. And this here is actually a really interesting article, because as I pointed out in the previous day's video, the SEC is coming under quite a lot of heat recently recently, and they're coming under even more heat now from Coinbase, who is alleging that the SEC deleted a bunch of texts, which is true, that Gary Gensler made, basically hiding the warpath that the SEC has been on for the past 5 years, and this is illegal. What the SEC did is illegal, and no one's going to go to prison for it. Nothing's going to happen. But they deleted evidence that showed that they were conspiring to ruin the entire industry, and I think that is completely unacceptable. Spot ETFs did huge numbers last week as well, logging $553 million worth of inflows, which is huge. This is going to be the same this week. It's only going to pick up even more steam. However, in the traditional news world, things aren't going as quite as well as what they are in crypto, because London is falling. They're currently giving out hotels to anybody that arrives by boat in England. So if you were considering going to England anytime soon, I'd recommend flying to France, getting on a boat at the Channel, not scanning your passport, and arriving at the other side if you want a free hotel. I was on Facebook today and I saw an old lady complaining that they were giving out, you know, Haven, the holiday compound place where they have a bunch of static caravans all in a line, and then they have like this centre where old people go and get drunk and leave the kids to go gambling on slot machines. That Haven. Well, apparently Haven is now a site that they're using for these migrants. They had 2 coachloads of people the other day turn up at Haven, and now they're at this holiday camp in England. It's just absolutely mental what's going on there. Why don't you literally just put them on a boat and turn them around? Anyway, moving on from England falling anyway. Global week ahead, from royal pomp to tech deals as Trump is visiting England. It's going to be another volatile week, and Trump says he's ready to put out major sanctions on Russia if NATO nations do the same. So that'll probably happen. I don't think Trump knows this, but most NATO nations already have sanctions on Russia. I think every NATO nation. Moving on, the final thing to discuss is defense startups are booming as VCs race to rearm Europe. The war in Russia is making a hell of a lot of money for these governments, and you've got to question who's incentivized to keep this going at this point. Certainly not the countries that are paying for it, but the ones in the US that are now charging for weapons. They're kind of incentivized to keep it going at this point. Moving on, however, Bitcoin. $16,000 is where the price is currently sitting. And how is it looking? Because for me, right now, I kind of like the look of Bitcoin. It looks pretty nice, but I'm a bit fearful of this $14,000, like a retest of $114,000 is kind of looking potentially likely. Having said that, when we go on to a much longer term chart here and we look at the VRVP at the side of the screen, you can see that we've yet to reach $118,000, which is peak liquidity, which is where that white line is going straight across the screen. If we check on the Bitcoin liquidation heat map right now, we can see there's a ton of liquidations that will happen on the run up to $120. And for Ethereum, we've taken out a lot of those ranges, but again, at 4,800 and down at 4,200, there are many zones. We've also got to be a bit careful on Bitcoin of this one down at 106. So when it comes to levels to watch and trades to take on Bitcoin, I'd say that longing $114,000 is a sensible trade. I'd say that jumping into a long position now has its risks, but it probably, so long as it wasn't over leveraged, would probably work out. I'm still looking for this $118,000 level, and I'm going to wait to close my trade out when it's at and around that level. And ultimately, I believe that Bitcoin here, whatever it does at this point in time, is on its journey back up to this level here. So as soon as it's breaking through that $118,000 level, we're looking for a run all the way up to 127 to 130,000. And I think that next week for sure that can happen. When it comes to Ethereum, Ethereum is done. Look at this chart here. We discussed it the other day. I said as soon as it breaks this line at 4,480, it'll run. And it did. It ran all the way up to 4,800, hit that peak zone of liquidity. It's dropped back down because you can see there's a gap in liquidity here, but it'll likely come back up and retest it again before the end of today. I'm pretty excited to see what happens with Ethereum here, because if it can hold the gains, it's definitely going to have another run to the upside and it's going to crack 5K. Again, I wouldn't be jumping into a long position here. Really, if you want to be going long off Ethereum, it's got to be $4,500 and below, and longing a retest of the previous trading range would be the best sensible scenario to be in. Now, when it comes to Solana, I've been plugging Solana for so long, and I'm very happy at how well Solana has been performing. Giving Solana a refresh here on CoinMarketCap, you can see the current price is $246.95, so basically $247. It's incredible. We've been plugging Solana now for an incredibly long period of time. This is the past year where it's been like as low as $100, currently at $246. This thing is going to crack all-time highs pretty soon. It's going to do it. All-time highs, what's that? 260. It'll do it. It'll definitely crack 260. So Solana-wise, I'm not touching anything. I'm not increasing the size of my trades. I'm doing absolutely nothing and just sitting on it because I've got some lovely entries from down in the low 200s, and below that, I've got some lovely trades from down at 180. I've been buying Solana since it was $100 this year. I've really put a lot of my wealth into it. Now, if you're wondering which exchange I'm using to trade, I use BLOFIN, which is the top link in today's video description. And if you use that link, then you get these bonuses that you see on the screen. Do $100 million in volume and you'll get a Rolex. So check out BLOFIN. You'll find a link for it in today's video description. It's a fantastic exchange. But next week is the big week. Only 3 days to go now until this happens. And this is why, like, next week should be an absolutely mega big sender of a week. I'm expecting crazy volatility. I'm expecting to have 10 heart attacks. I'm honestly expecting to, like, maybe have palpitations or anything. I think it's all gonna kick off next week. It's gonna be a mental week ahead. So make sure you slap a like on this video, some in your algorithm. Make sure you subscribed to the channel. Turn that notification bell on if you haven't already, because next week is gonna be the most intense week that we've had in crypto in a very long time. But on that note, guys, thank you all for watching. I've been me, and I'll see you in the next video. Check out links in today's video description. Goodbye.